This reaction is brought to you by my $5 or more supporters at coffee.com/Alex Haitz. I'd like to thank Andreas Glacial, Cole Alexander, Lukash Newman, Jag, Cedra Perez, Thin Ezzy, Willman, AJ, Lizardman aka Bill, and Ben Thrifty for sponsoring this video, supporting me, my family, the channel. I appreciate it immensely, and I hope you all enjoy this video. Finally, finally, we're doing another reaction. Can you believe it? My gosh, a full thing. The last one that I did was Mount Erie in December. I have not recorded an actual official reaction for 2026 yet. I've been crazy busy. My family has been like through a rotating door of sickness. And life has just been a little bit hectic, which is kind of unusual for the winter months. Usually it's a little slower for us and we can kind of get caught up on things, but not this year apparently. But we're back. We're supposed to do Clear Moon, and I realized that actually a poll should be happening before Clear Moon. So this was a selection of 4 albums chosen by my Discord people. Link in the description if you want to check out the Discord server. And they chose these 4 albums. And as you can see from what's here on the screen, technically new, or someone told me how to pronounce this correctly. I don't know if it's technically new. But it looks like it won, but one of my guys said that they accidentally voted for CCR because they were trying to like copy and paste that to look it up, and they accidentally voted for it. But their vote was actually for Debut, which means that New 75 and Debut tied. And I just randomly chose between the two, and Debut came out. So that's what we're doing today, is we are starting in on the Björk, well, not the Björk binge, but like our first real Björk reaction, because on this channel, I have reacted to, oh gosh, I put the thing in, I have to say BJ to find it. I've reacted to Hunter, which that video has almost 8,000 views. Wasn't super into it. Reacted to Isabel, like that more. And then I think Hyper Ballad, which was on, I don't remember, somewhere on the channel. It's not an individual video, but I really enjoyed Hyper Ballad. But I have gone on record saying that I don't love Björk's vocal delivery style. I'm the kind of person who like is not anti-ASMR, but it does like the inverse reaction for me, where I'm like, the vocal stuff is like a little much, but I am very intrigued by her songwriting methodology and her compositional skills. I really want to check out like more of her songs in that regard, and like maybe I'll come around to the vocals, we'll see. But yeah, so we're starting in on Debut today, and I'm very excited to listen. For those who don't know, I do unedited reactions on my Coffee page, coffee.com/Alex Haitz. For $5 a month, you can get access to unedited reactions, of which this is one. And you can also hop in at the $1 per month level, get access to voting in polls, which we do every like 2 to 4 albums. It kind of breaks up the monotony of going through artist discography binges, and we get to interject these random miscellaneous albums into the mix. Although we will be doing like a full Björk album binge later on in the schedule, which I have the schedule linked in the description if you want to check that out. But we're just kind of sampling this first album here because it was in the poll. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, that'd be the place to do it. Also need to shout out NordVPN, have an affiliate link in the description. Been using them for years. Great speeds, great prices, one of the better VPNs out there in my opinion. If you are in need of one, go check it out. Okay, Debut. We're going to listen to Debut today, everybody. Can you believe it? First there was Debussy from France, and now it's Debut from Iceland. I need to stop. 93. This is technically not her first album. Her first album was in 77 when she was like 12. But we won't talk about that today, I don't think. So yeah, this is 93, and then Post comes out 2 years later. And it's kind of classified as house. Maybe there's some like trip hop stuff coming down the road. But just largely like art pop is kind of how she's classified. I'm very curious to listen to Vespertine when we get to it later. I'm very hopeful that I'll like that. I think Homogenic homogenic, however you would say it, is probably going to be a bit too much for me, but I don't know. But starting with debut today, I think I have heard a song from this. Maybe. I can't remember. I've been doing reactions for long enough that, like, if I don't have them, like, logged somewhere, it's hard to, like, go find where they were. And I've been doing live streams for the last 8 years, so could have just been in one of those at some point. But I think we're gonna do 12 tracks today because there's technically a bonus track, Play Dead. I'm not exactly sure where that comes from. Even just the vinyl from 93 has it. So we're gonna do 12 tracks today, I think. And we will, how long is that? 52 minutes total. Yeah, Human Behavior and Venus as a Boy are apparently notable ones. I don't know if those were singles or not. But I don't really know a whole lot about Björk as an artist, so I don't really have a whole lot of context here. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what this sounds like, and if it has like that 90s stench all over it that I love so much. But without further ado, I think we're just going to go ahead and hop right on in with the first track, Human Behavior. Interesting start, huh? So that was apparently a sample from, oh, I just had it up. What was it? I won't play the sample because I'm scared. Ray Brown Orchestra, Go Down Dying. I'm assuming that's the boom, 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 because it had kind of like a blues funk like element to it, especially on that last note of the loop. I like the little like kind of crunchy bassy synth thing that came in there towards like later on. Lyrically, it's like interesting subject matter. Not exactly the most deep or profound lyrics, but yeah, I'm slightly mixed on it, but I don't mind it. Let's just put it that way. And I'm eager to just keep going. So maybe I'll have more to say on it as I keep listening. But let's go to the next track, Crying. Well, that was cool. That was a cool song right there. That's way more like in my wheelhouse than like human behavior. Not that that was bad, but I definitely am able to like click with this a little bit more. I think more interesting lyrics too. There's no one here and people everywhere. We know the feel. We know the feel. Get out of the big city, everybody, and make medium cities everywhere. That's the solution. Is it? I don't know. The again with the like the melodic motif, like ending on like a really interesting, almost like dissonant thing that gives it that kind of like funk. Yeah, not bad, not bad. And the like the pre-chorus kind of like breakdown into that really ambient, ethereal '90s synth. Kind of gives me like Enya vibes a little bit. I'm always down for that. I'm always down for that. Venus has a boy. This is a kinky, sexy song about how a guy is Venus and stuff. Let's listen. It's some bizarre stuff, man. That's just out there. Looking into the like backstory of the music video and like the novel that inspired it, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, oh man. So again, it's like I'm having this like this disparity between like being fascinated by the production choices here, like this broken bottle sound that's almost like used in a percussive way here. It's just the vocal delivery is not my thing. I'm just not clicking with it at all. Interesting lyrics, but it's like it's this. How would you call it? It's not. There's not a ton of melody to the singing in a traditional sense. There's a lot of leaps, a lot of jumping in intervals, like going up a full octave sometimes, it seems like. And it's just, I don't know, maybe it's like a matter of like I'm not used to it and it will take time, which I'm open to. But as of right now, I'm just like, mm. But that was cool. I like some of the little like elements that would come in and out of the mix as well. I'm always a fan of like certain types of pop music where like Magdalena Bay is great at this, of Montreal is great at this, where they just kind of just interject like random little instruments that do something and then never show up again. And I always find that fascinating when you can construct like a cohesive song out of a bunch of tiny little pieces, like when the recipe has 13 ingredients instead of 4. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's keep going. There's more to life than this. Recorded live at the Milk Bar Toilets. The Korova Milk Bar. Apparently, this was it's a now defunct milk bar in Soho. It was a place for the emerging electronic sound, and she arrived at 2 a.m. and recorded this live, moving from the floor to the toilets to the street. And there's apparently a studio version of the song that was released as a B-side to Venus as a Boy. But this is the live version here. I don't know what to expect. Let's listen.
Come on, girl. Let's sneak out of this party. Early morning, we could go down to the harbor. We could nick a boat. Little ghetto blaster. There's more to life than this. We come together, first spread of the morning. There's more to life than this.
Now that was a fascinating one. That was a fascinating one because a lot of reasons. Well, first I'll talk about it's a cool like conceptual song, like going kind of like in and out, sort of, and it's like singing outside and then like going back in. Also, the like soul and funk on that was kind of wild, especially with like the vocal performance. Which who is that? It just said a second ago. There was another singer. Gosh, who is it? It's not listing it here. I don't think. Jaleesa Anderson, Helisa, however you say that. Okay, yeah, from Jackson, Mississippi. Interesting. Definitely had that flavor to it. But the like lyrics being like, "Hey," the fact that like she's doing this like house song that's almost like, "Hey, let's stop listening to house music and go get like jump boats and grab bread." you know, I don't know. Whatever. It's interesting. The there was one more thing I was going to add, and I don't quite remember what it is. But maybe I'll remember. That was a fascinating one. I don't know if I necessarily like loved it enough to come back to it, but I liked the concept. That was fun. The next one is Like Someone in Love. This is apparently a like a jazz standard from 1944. I'm curious to see what this is going to sound like. I remember what I was going to say. In honor of ditching the club, I have a Shirley Temple Bloom Pop, which is one of the. This is Shirley Temple Bloom Pop. 3 grams of sugar, no alcohol because we're not in the club.
I find myself out gazing like someone in love. Mostly whenever you're around, I have
Yeah, that was nice. Really nice. I always have a soft spot for like, you know, musical sounding like show tune standards. Like Moon River, one of my favorite songs of that genre. So I think that was fantastic, and the harp was great by what's her name, Corky Hale, which I gotta say, like doing like those, like you have to be basically like plucking like multiple strings with a wide hand, right, to be able to do that, and like the trills, like that was crazy. Which I've not heard Joanna Newsom yet, so I don't know how that all works, but yeah, good. Again with the vocals, like for most of the song, great. Like towards the end, it's like it's her way of emoting to just do these like kind of like raspy kind of yelps that really, like I said, break that interval up like a ton. Which I have heard Birthday, Sugar Cube song, which I thought was fantastic. I think worked really well with that kind of more like jangly post punk sound, and gives it that kind of rougher edge. And I know she was, you know, Sugar Cubes is a little bit more in that realm of that style of music where it's like, I guess 80s, you know, those 80s sounds, the new wave and the post punk and all that. So that kind of clicks a bit easier in my mind. But to have that kind of stuff going on over like a harp playing a standard is like, it's just bizarre to me. It's still not quite clicking, but I'm not like, not poo-pooing it, not saying it's bad. It's just not clicking with me. That's all. Big Time Sensuality might click with me though. Let's see. A fun little boppy tune, isn't it? There's like just to get this out of the way, there's a little bit of like an aura of like hedonism on this album, a little bit. Although like there's more to life than this. Kind of contrasts Big Time Sensuality a little bit, doesn't it? Lyrically and conceptually. And like the whole hedonism thing, I'm not clicking with at all. That's a very profound thing to discuss, and I'm not really going to do it here and now. So it's like lyrically, like, didn't love that, but the kind of like peppy house, you know, vibe going on there with a little bit of a saxophone that comes in. Was that a sample? I can't tell. There's so many people involved on this album. Like there's a lot of engineers, oddly enough. But there's also like a good handful of other like musicians who contributed to this as well. Very musically diverse album, isn't it? Well, we're halfway through. One day we'll be done with it, but not yet. Interesting how a lot of the tracks don't have like board fades. A few of them have, but some of them have just like cut abruptly from like field recordings or whatever, like ambiance to just like the next track. And obviously, I'm not playing it in a full listen, so I can't tell if they transition, but it'd be cool to hear like them just go from one thing to the next. That was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'm not like huge into house, but like the more like ambient kind of chill out sort of house like that, I'm definitely way more keen on. It's just like very chill. It's almost it does lean literally like in the ambient direction where it's like it's not meant to be like right there in the forefront and you're just dancing like crazy. It's like a mood setter. And I resonate with that a lot more than the more intense stuff, the more dancey stuff, which has its place. But for me personally, something like One Day clicks a lot better. And her vocals were very restrained there. Yeah, that was probably one of the highlights for me so far, as well as like Someone in Love, as far as the ones that I have enjoyed the most as this man. And she mentioned Aeroplane, the next song, which apparently might be a little exotica, which I love exotica. Let's go.
And not live peacefully without you. He's away. This ain't right. I'm lost. How come and make me complete one word is away. This ain't right. I'm alone.
You see, now, like, I'm so curious because, like, apparently One Day had like three samples in it, and this one had a sample as well. Um, but I don't know, like, what parts of these are like samples and what are actual like performances for the song, you know? Because there was a lot of cool like instrumental breaks in there. But like again, the the vocal style is like always the same, no matter the song. And like I get that there's like a lot of, emotion and like obsession in her voice. But it's like it's I don't want to say monotone. I don't want to say it's monotonous. It doesn't always fit for me. It's like I don't know. I'm gonna get dislikes on this video undoubtedly. If I don't know, maybe the Bjork fans are way more sensible than the Madonna fans, because as Walt Tarusky and I both know, if you react to Madonna, oh boy, there's some people that come out of the woodwork that say just some of the most bizarre stuff, almost unhinged at times, and I'm like, why Madonna? Anyway, I think Bjork fans are probably plenty reasonable, but I could be wrong. And I'm going to save this for the very end, but I'm going to talk about my hangups on this album as well as like the things that I have enjoyed about it or I think are good. Because I want to be fair and honest and, weigh my opinions correctly. I'm not going to just be like, this album is bad because I don't like the way she sings. It's not quite like that. I just think that like for the vibe of this song, she didn't have to go as ham as she did. I mean, I get it. I do get it. But it again, just it doesn't click with me. It's like it doesn't fit in my noggin. And that's okay. That's okay. I did like the Exotica moments though. That was nice. Come to me. So a few things to say about that one. Um, First, the things I did like. I liked the instrumental quite a bit. Um, I liked the more simplistic approach, and like you even get like a major chord, like a tonic resolve in there. In the chorus when she says, "So don't make me say it," goes back to the one, which is like, like the first time we've heard such a simple, straightforward resolution on this album. I think, but also the just like like the doom doom, the kind of jumping bass with the synth, I guess, going over the top of it. Her vocal style was much more restrained, but still had that kind of, like passion and energy to it, carrying forward that kind of obsessive lyrical motif. And the thing that that didn't really click with me on this one is like the lyrics don't match the vibe of the song, because like when you just read these lyrics on their own, it's like, calm down, you're exhausted, you don't have to explain, I understand. Like imagine if this was like sung over the harp, like the other track. It'd be a completely different vibe. Whereas like with here on this like kind of darker trip hop sound, it almost sounds sinister. And like it just kind of like is a weird friction, and it's kind of like, I don't know if I want you to take care of me. It's you're sounding a little intense and little dark. You know what? If it's true love, you should be able to say I love you. Damn it, that's what I have to say about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to like attribute, because the thing is like just as an example, Alex G, one of my favorite artists. A lot of his songs are written with like characters in mind. Like he'll come up with a character and like write a song about that character. So it's not necessarily like every single song he makes is about himself. Obviously, there's some element of himself in his own art, but it's all sung from like perspectives of different kinds of people, and he does all kinds of genres, all kinds of vocal styles. Like you'll start an Alex G song and be like, wait, is this him singing? And it's like, it is. He's just doing a completely different vocal style, which is insane. But like, I'm not attributing all of the lyrical content to what he feels or believes or lives by, because it would be inconsistent to do that. With this album, it's like, I don't know if this is like how Björk lives her life, because there's just like so much like obsession going on here, and I don't know, like I dare I say obsession is unhealthy. So like there's an ounce of like icky that I'm getting from this album. But at the same time, it is like very like mesmerizing and captivating. So it's like I can take it as a type of like, voyeuristic kind of character that I'm looking at, rather than like an intimate expression of who Björk is. I don't know. And that's, I don't know if that's really for me to say. Just a distinction I wanted to make there. But let's keep going. We're nearly to the end. Violently Happy.
Since I choose, I hasn't got through feeling happy, 'cause I love you. Happy, come calm down before I tiptoe down to the shore. Violently happy, I'll get into trouble real soon. Violently happy, my car too fast with ecstatic music.
A bit of techno in there, huh? That's fun. Again, I like the the more chill atmosphere going on there. I'm always for that. Um, very of its time too. Don't mind that. Again with the lyrics though, it's like seek help. You cannot do this. You cannot rely so much on these sexy men. They will let you down. I'm sorry to say. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's just keep going. This is technically the final track on the main album, the anchor song. And it's apparently a bit of a jazzy tune. Let's go.
I live by the ocean. Dive into it. Underneath all current. This is where I'm staying. This. I live by underneath all current. This is where I'm staying. Oh.
For some reason, this file has an extra like minute of silence. Is there anything here? Nope. That's it. A very sad song, huh? Like a profound sadness to it. Apparently, there's like an early version of this on a demo cassette that she gave to One Little Indian Records, who signed her as an artist, solo artist. They were the original distributors of this album. And so, like, it has Oliver Lake, who played sax on Airplane. But it's like very different than all the other ones. And it's a really interesting choice to place that at the end of this type of album, isn't it? Wow. They're very profound. So now we're going to go to the bonus track, which was released as a single on, what was this movie? The Young Americans, is that right? Björk and David Arnold. So this is apparently like a kind of a trip hop spy music joint. I don't know. Let's go.
Stop confusing me with I have to go through this. No one loves, no light, no air to linger. I played dead. Stops. It's sometimes just like sleeping. Caress every
Again, seek help. However, the David Arnold element to that, because he scored a few of the like Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies. As well as Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. Cool. Okay. Definitely has that kind of, classical spy music type of composition to it. But then Björk throws her little trip hop vibe on there. And it fits, like, her vocal performance fits really well with the composition and the production there. That clicked a lot better than some of the other tracks I listened to on debut, I would say. Dare I say. Yeah, nice little addendum at the end there. Definitely a bonus track because it was made for a movie, it seems like. But yeah, I give that a thumbs up. And you know what? I give debut by itself like a 45-degree thumbs up. Yeah. So this album, like I said, I'm gonna talk about the things I like, the things I don't like, the things I think of are objectively true about this album. So the things that I did like, the production, I liked. Apparently, this hasn't been remastered ever at all. This is still the original 93 version of the album. As far as I can tell, there has never been a remaster of this, which is pretty remarkable for your debut. Sounds really good, sounds really tight. She may have had experience from previous bands like Sugar Cubes and whatnot, but I also really liked the sampling, the musical diversity. Like, there's a lot of variety here, and it's very consistent tonally too, which is impressive. Like, you have like tracks like There's More to Life Than This. It's quite different from the next track, like Someone in Love, Aeroplane, Come to Me, Anchor Song. It's like it moves in a lot of different directions, but still stays consistent and focused on what it's trying to communicate and imbue vibe-wise. And yeah, some of the more ambient dance tracks I thought were quite nice. The stuff that leaned more into the ambient or the techno or the trip hop is way more in line with what I enjoy than the more experimental stuff, which is still very fascinating. And I always like to listen to music that has such a unique vibe and personality to it, even if I don't find it to be something that I want to return to later. The things that I really struggled with were the lyrics, the lyrical content. They weren't incredibly complicated lyrics. They weren't super poetic. They were very straightforward in a certain way, which is not a problem. It's very easy to digest in that regard. The themes of obsession and sensuality and the little bit of hedonism on the album, I struggle with. But again, if I can take it as a character, rather than it's oh, this is just who Björk is, which it seems like that might be who Björk is or was. I don't know. She's in her 60s now, right? But is she still clubbing in her 60s? Maybe. But if I take it as, this more voyeuristic insight into this character or persona, it's a very fascinating insight. And there's that friction of just almost being on the brink of a mental breakdown at any given moment is fascinating. As a dance album, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's so weird to be this is a dance album and it's featuring, mentally intense lyrics and very dynamic vocal performances that just punch through the mix over the top of these, house songs. So I don't know. It's objectively, I think this is a good album. I could see people really liking this and thinking it's great. And for a debut, very impressive. Favorite songs would probably be Like Someone in Love and oh gosh, what was the other one I said I liked? Was it One Day or Aeroplane? I think it was one of those two that I said. Was it the more ambient one? Gosh, I gotta go look now. I think it was One Day was the more ambient. Yeah, One Day. So One Day and Like Someone in Love are my two favorites off of here. Shout out to Airplane. Mild shout out to Come to Me. Mild shout out to There's More to Life Than This. Mild shout out to Crying. Human Behavior and Venus Has a Boy didn't really do it for me. And I don't know, maybe that's indicative of how I might take the rest of her music. I don't know. But I'd like for you guys to let me know, if I'm missing some kind of like, I really like music history. I like to like know, like to see the evolution of genres, how like punk really informs grunge, which informs alt rock, as well as like, what the Pixies were doing, all that kind of stuff I find very fascinating. And this is a realm of music that I am completely ignorant on, save for like right before New Order broke up, like Technique. Like that's about where it begins and ends for me, especially with 90s house, techno, and what's the other genre I'm thinking of? I don't know. Just dance, that kind of dance realm in general. Alt dance, if you will. But if there's like things that I'm missing here, like any kind of context you guys would like to give me, please do so in the comments. I always enjoy reading that kind of stuff. I find it helpful to help things kind of click into place, perhaps, even if I don't necessarily love it, like emotionally or subjectively to the point where I'm going to come back to it as something I can enjoy as a music listen. It can still help me to kind of slot it into place and be like, okay, all right, I can see this in a proper light now. That's always very helpful. So, debut, not bad. Very mixed album listen, but I give honest reactions here, and I think it was very fascinating. And I'm still excited to listen to what she has coming up, because it seems to just kind of be uphill from here leading up to Vespertine, so that's pretty cool. So at some point in the future, maybe check down in the comments to see if I've done them already. I'll have all the Björk reactions I've done down in the comments as the pinned comment. See if I have reacted to more, but until then, very excited to get to more of her stuff in the future. All right, that is all. We did debut. Sorry it took so long. I've been so busy. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. I think I always find these kinds of listens to be very interesting, because I have way more to say, way more to talk about than just like, I loved it, or it's like, whatever. But we're continuing on with Clear Moon, going through Mount Erie still. And then A Crow Looked at Me is after that. That's going to be something, huh? Anyway, yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot more to add. Things to plug yet again, coffee.com/Alex Haitz for $5 a month, access to unedited reactions, of which this is one. And you can also hop in at the $1 per month level to gain access to voting in polls, of which this was one. And then also I should shout out the Discord again, a link in the description for that. Got about like 175 to 200 members over there. It's not a super active server, but I will post like when I go live and stuff like that, and like release unlisted album reaction links ahead of time and stuff like that. So if you want to join the channel, the server of me, that's it. All right, I'm going to go, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you're all doing well going into 2026. I'm excited for the albums that we'll be listening to this year. We have Mount Erie and Microphones to finish up, and then we're doing Susie and the Banshees, The Replacements, Yola Tango, and that'll probably take up a good chunk of the year. And then we go into Bruce Springsteen, and then Björk. Look at that. So she's not that far off. So maybe 2027 will be the year of the Björk. We will see. Anyway, I'm going to go. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, take care, fare thee well, and Godspeed.